If you're doing the things that you only want to go ahead and do, it's only a matter of time before you've taken advantage of those things. And like I had mentioned, those things take advantage of you as well. They take advantage of the present moment. They begin to destroy you. They begin to feel so good, and they also begin to destroy you in the same breath, which is definitely something that is absolutely mind blowing. But I've seen it within my own actions. I've seen it within the actions of people around me. I've seen it. I've just like I said, just it doesn't take a genius to see these observations that I'm mentioning, right? So like I said, maybe the homeless person the homeless person on the side of the road, right? I guarantee their focuses in life are two things. Just observe this. This is simple. This is a good example right here. A person who's homeless, their focus is on two things. One, the dopamine version of themselves. Whatever's going to give them the next high. Maybe this is actual drugs. Maybe this is, I don't know what homeless people do, but what I do know is their choices of actions have led them to the position in life that they're in, for the better or for the worse. But quite frankly, they're either trying to focus in on the next thing that's going to make them happy, which, like I said, or which, like I mentioned on previous podcasts before, focusing solely on happiness is probably one of the most unwise things you can do. You must focus and prioritize fulfillment above happiness, because at least fulfillment can last and happiness is fleeting, right? The people that pursue happiness when happiness is a fleeting feeling has no choice but to put themselves back in the cortisol state of mind anyways. Because quite frankly, life is not always going to be good, and life is not always meant to be good. That's the harsh reality of life. And I'm sure you know that. But quite frankly, there's a lot of people that act like that doesn't exist, right? The highest thing that they have on their value hierarchy is happiness. And when they're not happy, guess what? Life fucking sucks, right? But here's the thing, if you're pursuing fulfillment, if you're in the serotonin state of mind and acting in accordance to that, you are already experiencing objectively the highest of highs of life. Like I said, taking care of your loved ones. What's better than taking care of people that you love? What's better than getting a good workout? What's better than helping somebody develop a skill? What's better than that? There's truly nothing better than that. And like I said, you just must understand, and maybe you even need to reframe what is good for you and what is not good for you, right? And like I said, have a balance with these things, man. Truly have a balance with these things. Because if you don't, like I mentioned, right, suffering only feels good when you get rewarded for the suffering. Good things only feel truly good when you do suffer. That's just what it comes down to. Because at the end of the day, too much good and not enough suffering, you take advantage of the good or abuse it. That's just what it is. And also, like I mentioned, right, too much suffering and not enough good makes the suffering or sacrifice not feel as worth it. And that's just what it comes down to, right? If you're simply, it's like this. It's like this, for example, right? Let's just say you're a really really disciplined person, and of course, there's going to be a lot of perks of being a disciplined person, right? But let's just say you never do anything you never do anything that you want to do, and you're always ultra self disciplined, right? That's going to be good, but quite frankly, I don't believe up to this point in my life, if you're not doing some of the things that would dip into that side of the dopamine side of version of yourself, I don't believe you're getting the full squeeze out of life. I do believe that you should be placing 70 to 80 to 90% of your time in the serotonin version of yourself, which is going to probably be in the self-disciplined version of yourself. But like I had mentioned, you must be balanced. And the way that you can be the most balanced is to be able to have what is the maximum amount of enjoyment of life that you can get with also doing the minimum amount of things that give you dopamine. Think about that for a second. That in my opinion is one of the best questions that I've asked on today's episode. Because there is a certain threshold, right? You don't necessarily need to be always doing all the things that just make you the happiest person ever. I know that's mind blowing to today's society, because quite frankly, people pedestalize happiness. Like I said, happiness comes and goes, right? I'm not gonna pedestalize it, right? Everybody loves being happy, but like I said, it's fleeting feeling. It's not going to last. And with that being said, I don't think people should necessarily be ever too high or too low, right? Never be high, never be too high, never be too low. Because quite frankly, if you're too high or too low, it's almost as if you don't understand how this life goes, because life's going to give you the dips. Life's going to also give you the mountains of life, right? And to be attached or to be pedestalizing one over the other when understanding that this is just a human experience is to be missing something, right? Because you shouldn't solely focus on being happy or striving to only be happy. And you shouldn't only focus on being depressed or striving to get away from that feeling. Because, like I said, the human experience is packed with all of these emotions and is meant to be filled or meant to be felt. And for you to not feel or try to neglect some of the feelings that come with this life experience is for you to be rejecting the human experience in its totality. And that's not real. That's just not real. That's just not smart. That's just not practical, in my opinion. And with that being said, understand, like I said, just understand the concept of never be high, never be too high, never be too low. Because if you are, you have a missing perspective. If you're too low, you have a missing perspective because you know there will be better days ahead, and you must understand that thoroughly, right? There's a lot of people that can get trapped in the too low aspect, and maybe it'll last, maybe what will last a day for me or 2 days for me will last 2 or 3 weeks for another person. But like I said, I have a full perspective. I have a full perspective that this will not be something that is forever, right? Same thing when I'm the most happy. I understand thoroughly that I enjoy this right now, but I understand that this won't last. I'm not clinging on to the happiness. I'm not clinging on to this because I understand that it is fleeting. Enjoy it when it's here and move on. Simple as that, man. I'm not clinging on to it. I'm not pedestalizing it because, like I said, then you get in. Like I said, then when like if you're not happy, life fucking sucks. Especially if you're pedestalizing, especially if you value happiness over everything. And here's the thing: I've never seen anybody that pedestalizes happiness over everything and is they're not. I never want to be like that person, right? The people who pedestalize happiness over everything, those are the people who either underweight, overweight. Like I said, they're not the physical representation of something that I want to go ahead and be like, right? Ever, literally ever. They don't. Like I said, I just don't know if they have the values calibrated, and it's as simple as that, right? I just don't know if you have your values truly calibrated. I don't know if you understand people that pedestalize happiness over everything. Like I said, even over fulfillment. I don't necessarily think that you've not experienced enough life to understand.